Good. It just, I don't know why only 10% of the people seem to know how to do it right.
I think what it is like, I've had like different kinds of greens, and like my brother makes good greens. You know, if you are a green person, you like them. Because I've, tasted some people that don't taste good or they taste good. But I think for me, what it trips me up is it's like, it felt to me like it's like hot salad.
Okay. It is.
It like, I think that's what it is that I don't like about it. It feels like I'm eating hot, soggy salad.
Wow.
So I think that's what it is.
I feel you. Especially if it comes in, like the people that do it in the big chunks. Like, if you don't like chop it up finer or something like that. But I just think when it's chopped finer, it has a nicer mouthfeel.
Okay. Well, so I guess it's my turn. I would say my favorite underrated dish is dirty rice. Okay, and that's one of my specialties. That when my family gets together, and like when I want to say my sister hosts, but that's my sister cheats. My sister's been cheating at hosting Christmas for years.
Oh,
yeah, it's at her house, but her daughter
does it work?
Is the one who's hosting Christmas, really. It's just at my sister's house. But she claims, she's like, oh, I'm hosting Christmas. I'm like, you ain't hosting nothing. You don't do nothing. Shelly does all the work. So I've said on this show many times that my niece Shelly is a fabulous cook, my favorite cook in the world.
Oh, wow.
And
but your sister be like Eddie Murphy's daddy. It's my house.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So one of the dishes that I bring when they're hosting and I contribute whatever is the dirty rice, and I think that's very underrated.
I love dirty rice,
and it's really good, and it can also take the place of dressing. Like if you don't want to do both,
nope.
Yeah, I like dressing too.
I love dressing too.
That's sacrilegious. If the dressing ain't right, Thanksgiving ain't right.
Right.
I almost agree with that. Yeah. But it's a big part of it.
Yeah.
But dressing is another one of those tricky ones. So
I'm gonna have to make some chicken and dressing today.
Now, what do I think is most overrated? I might have to get on board with the turkey. I think that might be my most. The thing I'm thinking I could actually I wouldn't miss that much. I miss that.
I don't mind. I like the dark meat. I mean, it's the one like it's so funny because with chicken I prefer the white meat, but with turkey I definitely want the dark meat.
Oh.
And I want it with my dressing and with some gravy.
Yes.
I also had some ham this year, but I have to be careful with the ham come middle age. I can't be ham out that sodium.
I love ham.
Yeah, the ham is one of my dishes that I also bring.
Ham and greens go together well. I'm just saying.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
Shut up, Rosalind.
I'm just trying to instigate and get a plate.
I could actually have a big bowl of greens and some cornbread and call it a meal.
Oh yeah, me too. And I really look forward to this time of year and I didn't get any greens this year. And the reason, one of the reasons why is because my girls don't eat greens. So, and greens are one of those foods that you don't make a small portion of because it doesn't make sense. Like if you do it, you got to do a lot. And so it's just me. So I'm not doing a big old thing of greens for just me. You know what I mean? So I don't get greens that much. So that's one of the things I'm looking forward to.
You know what I do? Because I'm single, always cooking just for myself. I usually get just the little bags of greens for that. Because that's enough for me, just for me.
Yeah.
Instead of buying it's not a big bulk, but it's probably like a pound or something.
Right.
It's already
packaged.
You always have to be careful with that because it always seems like prepackaged greens is always being recalled. Usually spinach, something from salmonella or something, E. coli.
Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, I love greens, so I love the dressing too.
That's
before we move on, let me bring this. Let me float this past you guys. Dressing versus stuffing. Is there a difference? Is there a difference in your mind? What do you guys think when you hear dressing, when you hear stuffing, and the differences, or is there differences, or is it just terminology? Is it just regional? What do you guys think about that? What's your whole spiel?
I think it's cultural, and I also think in how it's prepared too, because most Black folks call it dressing, and it's made in the oven, whereas stuffing is made on the stovetop mostly.
I never thought of that.
No.
Stovetop stuffing.
Actually, stuffing
not
in the bird
is in the bird, and that's why it's called stuffing. That's mostly used. And I think they're also technically when you speak in like as far as like culinary terms, that is the difference.
Yeah, like technically,
and the only difference is whether it's cooked in the bird or outside the bird. Other than that, you can use the words interchangeably.
Right.
And they pretty much mean the same thing, from a culinary standpoint. But there's some other differences too. Pip, what's your take on it?
I think they're interchangeable, and people use them interchangeably. I usually say dressing. I like the word dressing. I like the very sound makes my mouth water. I particularly like cornbread dressing the best. I've like all kinds of dressings. I've had dressings with fruit in it even. Like I had a dressing with a cranberry in it one year that was really delicious. I know it sounds like it wouldn't be, but it was. I didn't need any cranberry jelly on it.
So I think when I hear dressing, I think cornbread dressing, and when I hear stuffing, I think white bread.
Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause I've never heard anyone refer to white bread as dressing, or like it's usually always stuffing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then kind of cornbread dressing can kind of go either way. But generally when I hear dressing, I think cornbread, and I know it doesn't have to be that way, but that's in my mind. That's how it works.
Yeah.
So
as I said, I think it's cultural too, because I've never heard of any black folks making dressing with or stuffing with the white bread.
White bread, right.
Yeah.
And in general, it seems like even marketing wise, again, when you buy it in a box, it's always called stuffing.
Yeah. In the box, in the box, and it's always white bread too.
Yeah.
It's not
well, you can buy cornbread stuffing.
Oh, can you? Oh, okay. I've never seen that.
I haven't seen that.
Me either. I didn't know that. So anyway, I just thought.
Sometimes I would buy that if I didn't want to make all the stuff, but it's never as good.
No.
It's just not. It's processed and blah blah. And part of it now has become like the ritual of making the cornbread, and breaking it up, and all that stuff.
Right. All right. So, question for next week.
You got one?
I don't. You got one?
How about like who's got holidays coming up? Christmas
is coming up fast.
Yeah. So we should be thinking about Christmas stuff, right?
I love Christmas.
What do you love about it?
Just the whole gift giving, even though I don't really participate in that part. But I just like the idea of just like gifts and, the surprise of it.
The whole Christmas spirit part of it.
Yeah.
Like that the warm feeling that time of year and all that stuff.
Yeah.
How about what's your worst Christmas gift you ever received?
Oh.
That's a good one.
Okay. That's it. What is the worst Christmas present you have ever received? Question for next week. The worst Christmas present you have ever received. I already know mine is.
I am too, and I'm so glad my mom don't listen.
All right. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do our mail. And
does chlamydia count?
Out of here.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah, it does.
What you get for Christmas? Chlamydia?
Yeah, we don't want that one. We don't want that gift.
Got the clap. Not the clapper, but the clap.
Oh, yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman. Wait, hey, Mr. Postman. Mr. Postman.
So this comes from one of our super fans, Tina Greenwood. She wrote in and said, glad you guys are back. This was last week after we had taken a week off. I popped over here to check, talking about our page. I popped over here to check on you. Missed you all last week. Made my Monday at work a Monday at work.
Aww.
You guys get me through. Hugs and kisses.
Thank you,
Tina.
Thank
we love
you.
you. We love you. We love you. We love you.
And thanks for your Instagram follows and comments that you sent to me and to all of us. So thank you for your participation as well.
Most definitely. All right, y'all.
I wish we had more.
Does it.
I wish we had more participation from some of our fans and listeners.
I know.
Especially those of you overseas in the military.
I know. And
we
shout
love
out to speaking of overseas, shout out to our fan LL. I don't know if you still ride with us, but he was over in Australia, New Zealand, actually. Him and his family, his wife. He had a beautiful wife who was a former pop singer, Felicia Lima. They used to listen to us and follow us on Twitter and everything. I don't know if they. I haven't heard from them in a while. So if you're listening, check in, bruh.
Yeah.
Check in. And happy holidays to you and your beautiful family.
Everybody, send us a word. Let's know what's going on. What's going on in your neck of the woods.
That's right. So like Pip said, especially if you're overseas, where there's a special Shiznit Show holiday challenge. We challenge you to either write in or you can call in. You can tweet. You can however way you want to reach out to us. Reach out to us. Let us know you're listening. You dig in on the Shiznit Show.
And whether you be from that country or if you're an American expat over there, maybe in the military or something like that, we'd love to know what's it like over there during the holidays versus what's it like in America during the holidays.
That's right.
And let us know how you feel about the Shiznit.
That's right. All right. Well, Roz, before we go, let's go ahead and shout out Wordy Girl Entertainment. And tell
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tell people all about it and where they can find you.
Well, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. I really don't do Twitter too much because I don't like Twitter, but I'm always on Instagram. So my handle is @WordyGirlENT for all of them.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming in and sitting in for our girl, Dejan. And shout out to Dejan Monique, who's having a vacation time with her family, her mother, and other loved ones. Shout out to you. We miss you.
Hey, Dejan.
See you next week, girly girl. And all right. So that's about it. So for Rosalind Jackson and Wordy Girl Entertainment.
Bye.
For Pip Lily.
Going back to gay church, y'all.
I'm Dino Red saying holla at your boy.
From all of our crew to listeners like you, thanks again for tuning in to another episode of The Shiznit. And don't forget to tell your friends about the show. Check out our website, theshiznitshow.com, or hit us up on Facebook under The Shiznit. Follow us on Twitter at The Shiznit Show. Write to us at theshiznitshow@gmail.com, or leave us a voicemail and make it sexy at 424-261-4878. This has been The Shiznit.
You're listening to the Red Rock Podcast Network.